Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And here I have a great article for you guys from Fierce Wireless. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So, Verizon CFO gave an update in the early morning hours at the Stanley Morgan conference. I was able to tune in. Some of the updates are also listed in this article. So, make sure you guys check it out. So, a big point during the conference was fixed wireless access. Of course, that's a big deal for the company right now. That's a huge positive momentum in any quarter, really. Q2, it's been great. Q3, it was great. Q4, it's looking great again. And he also discussed that the targeted 4 to 5 million by 2025 of fixed wireless access subscribers, they're crushing that right now. He made that very clear, and he didn't want to update or give an updated guidance. So I think they do that maybe at another analyst day because I think all of their guidance are like way outdated. But yeah, I think he does that. They do that maybe at the fourth quarter earnings. They give an update on that on those targets, maybe another analyst day, but they have to update because they are over delivering and under promising even worse than T-Mobile at the current rates and targets. So he did talk about that. Fixed wireless access is a huge part. They're growing at faster rates than they even anticipated at this time. That's why they're well ahead of their targets. And they continue getting to more homes passed. C-band continues to scale. They no longer have to worry about clearing the spectrum. So now they just go and compete. They build and they compete and they continue scaling fixed wireless access. Another thing that was also mentioned, the 250 million pops by the end of 2024, well ahead of that target. They're finally admitting that. It's already been seen right publicly. They're claiming 230 million by the end of the year. They likely do 235, 240. That's a very realistic number. And there's no way it's going to take them an entire year to scale only 10 million pops, right? So I predict they get to 280, 285 million by the end of 2024. And then the middle of 25 at the midpoint is where they get to 300 million. They're very aggressive, and there was some good updates that I'll give in this video as to how they get there. So yeah, 250 million, well ahead of target. We'll likely need an update on that too. Like I said, this is worse under delivering and over promising than even what T-Mobile does with their conservative guidance. So he also mentioned again, Capex this year 18.5 billion to 19.5 billion. Excuse me. They're coming in at the higher end. He used 19 billion for argument's sake. So that's a heavy amount of Capex. Next year that is coming down to a regular, I guess you can say regular run rate of Capex, 17 to 17.5. But he did mention that some of the spend is coming down. Like they're not going to invest in LTE anymore. He disclosed that as usage gets moved over to 5G, there's less capital that's going to go into LTE. There might be some still, but he disclosed it would be very, very little. And then One Fiber, that's at the tail end. They're almost done with that. So that's Capex they no longer have to spend. So he did disclose majority of the Capex next year is going to C-band. That's crazy. They have some Capex going to FiOS, where they're going to expand new open for sale houses. So that's new fiber that's being laid within the FiOS footprint, which is not going to take too much out of the Capex, maybe 2-3 billion, depending, because they're not scaling it. They're not taking it to new parts of the country. They're only opening up new addresses for sale and expanding within the footprint. So maybe they can do that with 1 to 2 billion. So maybe 3 max, right? So majority of the Capex next year is going to C-band. That's scary. That is scary. They're going to scale this, as fast as they possibly can. I mean, we're talking the period of acceleration. They didn't even spend that much. They accelerated beyond the Capex because they still had, heavy commitments to One Fiber and FiOS, and that probably carved out a pretty big chunk so they could scale faster. You know, when One Fiber was at its peak, they were probably spending 5-6 billion out of the capex. But now that's no longer the case, and he also disclosed LTE is they're finished with that too. So C-band is going to scale very, very quickly into rural next year. It's going to be big, and that's for new sites and for existing upgrades. They're going to go big, so that's something to watch out for. I know they lag scale right now, like in some of these smaller suburban areas, rural markets. They need to get C-band out there because they have a lot of band 13 only sites. But that should change next year for sure. That should change 100%, and then even more in 2025. Right? They don't have a number listed, right? They don't say we're going to get C-band to 50,000 sites. That's what T-Mobile stated. They would get N41 to 50,000 sites. No, he said they want to get C-band to majority of their sites. So that's a huge undertaking, but they're spending the capital. And to sit there and say that majority of CapEx next year is going for C-band, I mean, there's a lot of work out there. Tower companies, get ready because you guys are going to be busy building C-band for Verizon. So those are just some of the points that he mentioned during the earnings. I mean, during the conference. There's some other stuff he talked about, but probably no interest to the channel overall. You know, he did talk about gross ads. They were 41,000 positive last year. He said they would probably beat that this year, or he kind of hinted at that, coming at a higher number year over year. I called that out. If you guys remember, I said Q4 is the holiday quarter. They would be positive. So no surprise for me. I want to see Q1, Q2, Q3 of next year if they can maintain any momentum on the consumer side. That's what I'm interested in. You know, and even to sit there and say that, yes, you were positive during a holiday quarter, which is like, you know, the tail end of that quarter, the last 4 to 5 weeks is like very busy. And you only last year did 41,000 ads, you know, that's pretty sad. Right? There's like absolutely no volume coming through those doors. 41,000, remember the quarter is 3 months. And you only do 41,000. T-Mobile and AT&T do that in a single weekend for comparison's sake. Maybe in some cases on a Saturday and a Sunday on a national scale they do that. Just to put that into perspective. So they have work to do, right? He touched on Sampath and the My Plan and them going more to a regional based model, bringing back the individual commission. As I stated before in previous videos, that's back. So we'll see, right? I want to see them at least do 150,000 on the consumer side in Q4. At least. That's not hard to do. They have a lot of aggressive promotions out there right now. They're competing. Maybe not as aggressive, but they're competing. I just saw, and I'm gonna make a separate video about that. I think I just saw they're doing 4 iPhone 14 Pluses for free with $25 per line. So that's aggressive, right? That gets people talking. That gets people engaged. They got some stuff for home internet that I saw. They got some free phones. So they're doing the thing, right? They're doing it. I just want to see how good they are at marketing this. That's usually where T-Mobile excels. They're usually better at that, and it's proven by a decade-long track record. So I want to see how Verizon fares during Q4. So make sure you guys stay tuned for more. Like, share, subscribe, follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.